What is up, Netflix fans, and welcome back to my channel. I just watched the brand new Netflix movie called Towel. No, not towel. I said towel. And no, I'm actually not in front of the green screen today. I've been traveling literally for the last 4 days. It's been very busy. My voice is almost gone. I'm trying my very best to get everything out before it goes away, but I want to talk about this movie that I was able to get up early this morning and watch before we did all of our activities. And then tomorrow morning, I'm releasing my review for Sicario: Day of the Soldado. I was really looking forward to that movie. And you know, I didn't even see a trailer for Towel until yesterday, so I didn't really know what it was about. And then I see Gary Oldman is in the film. I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. I know it's a Netflix movie, but I'm kind of excited. And I didn't really like the trailer, so I didn't know what I was in for. If you guys have never watched a review of mine, I like to talk about the good, the bad, and then give you my score. Let's talk about the good. Man, my voice is going away, slowly but surely. So Towel is a movie about a girl who gets kidnapped into this giant house, and a guy, played by Ed Skrein from Deadpool, is doing all of these funky things to the kidnapped people in the house, and then old Commissioner Gordon comes in. Gary Oldman is the voice of this smart house, if you want to put it that way. I don't want to say too much about the plot just in case you haven't seen it, because I don't really like spoilers, and I didn't know anything going in, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with this film. And let me tell you why. I do believe some of the performances were actually better than I ever thought they would be. Because after seeing the trailer, they just kind of missed for me, but our lead, she was actually really good as you progress throughout the film. Now, she started out a little stiff, but the more we got to see her relationship build with Tal, the better I felt about her performance, and I really am excited to see what else she can do, maybe in a theatrically released film. Now, that's another thing about this movie that I'm not really going to strike it for. You don't have to watch this movie on a theater. This is the perfectly suited sci-fi movie for Netflix. It's small scale. Some of the effects aren't that great, but the story is really what was interesting to me. There are elements of this story that we have seen before, such as Blade Runner 2049, Her, Ex Machina. I saw things nitpicked from each of those, but it does go in a different enough direction that I was like, okay, I'm not disappointed at where this ended up. I'm just not overly thrilled about it either. And I love the relationship between the human and the robot. Like I said, we've seen that in Her and Ex Machina. Ed Skrein is someone else I want to point out here. Some people will say that his performance was a tad bit wooden, but I will actually say he did a really good job, and I want to see him do more things like this, really straight-faced and kind of creepy. But yeah, I had a good time with this movie. I wasn't really expecting much, and at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, I actually got a little bit more than I expected. I got a plot that I wasn't expecting, some twists and turns that I did see coming, but overall, I'm like, yeah, I actually ended up enjoying the film. But my big problems are, I believe that Tao was passionate about her, and I'm not talking about in a romantic way. I just believed that Tao was passionate about our human character, but I did not believe her passion towards Tao. There are some decisions made at the end that I didn't really understand from her perspective, because it's not like she had time to grow for this character. Now, from Tao's perspective, I'm like, yeah, I get it. You're a robot. You're learning new things. This is your first ever human. You're realizing what is going to happen with this, this, and this. But in her case, it's like, all right, I'm stuck in a house. There's this robot, this AI system, and sure, you start to kind of care for it, but I just didn't get enough build in that relationship. And another problem I had with the build is you don't really start off and get anything about her character. She's really thrown into the situation. It's like, okay, why should I care about her in this regard if I don't know anything about her? And you didn't give me a reason to say, okay, now I'm invested in that character. And you get all these weird flashbacks at certain points in the movie, and it's like, you don't ever really expand on them. You just give us those flashbacks. I never really understood what the entire premise of the project was, and that's a pretty big deal because that's the entire point of the movie. The point of the movie is that he had her held captive, but it's like, what were you doing? Now, he kind of explained it, and some things are like, okay, I get what the premise is, what the gist is, but if I knew more about what this project was, and I knew more about what she was there for, and why they were exploring her memories, and how they incorporated that into a new AI system, minor spoilers, but you're not going to be affected if you haven't seen the movie. I wanted more from that. They didn't really flesh that out. I liked the journey, but I didn't like how they didn't really explain any of it, and that's why I can't give this movie a very high score, because there just wasn't much depth. Not that I expected a lot of depth, because it is a Netflix film, so I'm going to judge it a little bit differently than I otherwise would, because I was a tad bit surprised. But Tao, it could have been better if they would have explored more about why they had her for this project. Why was she the best candidate. Why was she passing more of the tests than the other one? I get they wanted to explore the relationship between the robot and her. I understand that. But if they would have explored more of the other side of the plot, I think this movie would have been a lot better, and maybe one of my favorite Netflix movies of the year. But overall, Tao was a nice little surprise. It's not necessarily a great movie, and I can understand how somebody can watch this and say, okay, I have seen that before, I was not entertained, but you know what? Just to sit down and watch on my little iPhone on Netflix is pretty good. Some bad special effects at times, but I'm not really going to strike it for it. I do think Gary Oldman didn't have to play the robot. They could have really gotten anybody, so that didn't make a difference to me. A tad bit of a surprise. I'm going to give Tao a 62%. Not a great movie. It's an okay film. And I'm sorry, guys, no comment spotlight today. I don't have my laptop right now. Once again, I'm going to have to pull out of here in just a second and get back on my trip. It has been a long weekend. I had to make a video for you guys. I'm going to try my best to edit that as soon as possible. Tomorrow, Sicario, Day of Soldado. I'm very excited to talk about that. I have already seen it, but I did get to be a best man at a wedding, so I might be posting a video about that later on. You guys are the absolute best. Thank you for your likes, your comments, everything that you guys do. I will be back with another Netflix review next Friday. I will catch you guys later.